This is an Anker Miwa. This is just a magnet glued onto a pick. I've actually got two of them so that I can have a north and a south pole pick. I pretty much only need one on one side and the other on the other side. I'm just going to attack the dimples. I think that's it. I'm going to be fairly quiet because I need to listen for the sliders and how they respond to the magnet. Once I find a binder, I've got to counter rotate and hopefully not drop too much when we do it. Side of the keyway somehow. Just going to check that I didn't drop a pin. Hopefully I didn't notice that one doing that. And there we go. Zoom out. I'm just going to pan down a bit. Okay, for a start, I'll show you the big block. I might as well lock it back up. These are just awful self-destructing circlips. I'm trying to be careful because I've already destroyed the other half of this lock. So, I'll tell you a little bit about this lock while we're dicking around with this circlip. There are 4 dimple pins that are in the middle of the key. Underneath that, there are 4 magnetic sliders. Now, the sliders aren't physically accessible from inside the keyway. They can only be manipulated via magnetic force. There are 8 positions on the key for magnets to go in. I think only 4 of them necessarily need to be used. Sorry, I'm a man, I can't multitask, so let me just do this. What I need to worry about. I think for this lock I need this for. Okay. Now we have pins on top. Whoops, which we're already losing. What's that? It appears to be a master wafer from number 2. And obviously necessary for this key to function as well. I've never actually gutted this specific side. I've gutted its other side before. That's a bit of... I'll leave it on for now. What should we do? We'll dump out the key pins. Hopefully not lose the magnets in the process. There's nothing special about these really. They're basic standard pins, no security, perhaps a little bit of a taper on them. And now we'll get the magnets out. How should we do this? Pull the key. It's number 2. I'll just show you actually while I have it like this. When I insert the key, what happens. So ordinarily they sit out like that. And as you insert the key, there's only so far out they can push because of the cylinder. I just don't want it shooting out. Once the key's in, they will, well, they normally not sitting out that, I'm not allowed to sit out that far. As the key goes, they get sucked into the core. Ramble, let's get on with the gutting. two. Of course they're magnetic, so they want to stick to the tweezers. Wipe it off. Number one wants to come out. These have tiny little bastards of springs that love to get lost, or so I'm going to separate these by one. I'm going to put them in the odd numbers so they don't get stuck together. There are tiny little brass springs that love to get mangled, lost, and would be pretty much irreplaceable. So I'm just being a little bit careful there too. I'm using my fingers, as ungraceful as that might be, because I'm not magnetic. Just going to drop those four little springs out. They're like gold. Tiny little copper springs. They're absolutely weak, tiny, irreplaceable. Then we've just got, it looks like, I don't know, it's a washer and a couple of bits of drill protection in there as well. As you can see, those sliders went in from opposing sides. Whoops. Get apart. Just leave the core there. I'll get on with this. I do want to show you with these sliders. I'm going to put the magnet side up, so you can see that some of them have two magnets in them, some of them only have one. That's a two magnet one. And I want to leave one sideways too, so you can see that's the one magnet one. So you can see that the bit that catches on the core has some steps in it. It's a little bit spooled and also wedge shaped, so that it requires counter rotation to be able to pull them in. And because you're using so little force, you basically have to manually counter rotate the core to allow the sliders to come in. Rambling, I'm turning a short pick into a long video, sorry folks, I'll get on with it. I just think it's quite an interesting lock, and it's not something you see every day either. So I'm trying to share what I find, because I figure if you're watching this, then you look specifically for Anker Miwa, or you just like watching picking videos. Because I'm not much of a filmmaker, I'm afraid. These are all standard drivers. Nothing special about them at all. As you saw at the beginning, they're fairly easy to pick. I was oversetting them because they're so low lift, and you'll see that on the key. It's very easy to overset them. We'll dump these springs out. I'll just try and show you inside the core there that there is sort of a ladder. You can almost see it there. Little pockets for the sliders to sit in, as well as obviously the normal Bible for the pins. I'm just going to pop that there. I'll bring you in for a bit of a close-up. There you can see the two magnets on a slider. And there you can see there's only one magnet there, closer to us. And you can sort of see the profile there. Not really how tricky it is, but pins themselves and the core. As you can see, there's no access between the sliders. Can we see down there? So there's where the pins will sit, but the bottom of the keyway, assuming the Bible is up, is completely solid. So purely magnetic force to manipulate those sliders. There's no physical attack possible. Anyway, that's a long rambling video on the Anker Miwa. Thanks for watching.